cell phone, please turn it down or get it to vibrate so that we don't have a bunch of phone calls going off right during the middle of the meeting. And with that, it's 5 o'clock, so I'm going to call the meeting to order, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Turn that over yet. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, the next item on the agenda this evening is the approval of the minutes from the December 19th, 2023 meeting.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes.
Okay,
I'll second.
I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote.
Green,
Aye.
McLean,
Aye.
Calvin,
Aye.
Parks,
Aye.
Mauer. Aye. Peace. Aye.
All right, the next, item 3 on the agenda is a public hearing for the consideration and vote to recommend approval of a conditional use permit for a tiny home cluster at 1004 North Pearl Street. My father's house is the applicant. I will take a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing for the tiny home cluster 1004 North Pearl Street, my father's house.
I'll second
Okay, I've got a motion and a second.
Green,
Aye.
McLean,
it. Aye.
Calvin,
Aye.
Parks,
Aye.
Mauer. Aye. Peace.
All right, public hearing's now open.
Okay, so, I have been having Mitch Gabbard assist me lately with some of the planning and zoning in office. So this one, I think he's gonna take the lead on. We'll go over, the memo and then we'll have a public comment.
So the owner of my father's house has requested a conditional use permit for the construction of a tiny home cluster development at 1004 North Pearl Street. Table 3.110A in the land development ordinance requires a CUP to be obtained for tiny home cluster developments in the thoroughfare access district. The property at 1004 North Pearl covers 8.93 acres and currently operates as a transitional housing shelter for individual women and families experiencing homelessness in Miami and Lynn County. The proposed development would include 48 houses with an initial development of 14. My father's house recently received approval for a $1 million grant to support the construction of the first phase of the project, including infrastructure. The tiny homes will house community members recovering from homelessness and or addiction or living with mental or physical disabilities who are unable to afford rent. The entire development, including open spaces and buildings, will remain under common ownership by my father's house. There are no other tiny home developments within 1,000 feet of this property as required by table 3.110A of the LDO. Staff has consulted with other department heads to include the public works director, and no concerns have been expressed. The concept plan for the proposed development includes a playground, storm shelter, as well as numerous off-street parking spots for residents. All homes will be permitted and inspected by the city of Paola under the applicable building codes. Prior to permitting, the applicant will need to secure site plan approval through the Planning Commission and City Council. A site plan will finalize parking, lighting, landscaping, utility, and drainage plans. The site plan will be reviewed for compliance with all ordinances of the city by staff and outside reviewers as deemed necessary. Would you like me to go to the findings?
Just keep going.
The planning commission must ensure that the following standards shall be met according to section 21, 220, parts A through D. The proposed use shall be consistent with comprehensive plans, purposes, goals, objectives, and policies, including standards for building and structural intensities and densities and intensities of use. The vision statement outlined in Planning Paola 2050 states that Paola takes advantage of opportunities to improve its quality of life through investments in housing, parks and recreation, and access to amenities. The proposed use shall be compatible with the character of land in the immediate vicinity. The majority of properties abutting this property are residential, as would be this. The proposed use design shall minimize adverse effects, including visual impact of the proposed use on adjacent lands. The proposed development would positively impact the community and be minimally visible to adjacent lands. The proposed use shall minimize adverse impacts on the environment, traffic and congestion, infrastructure, or governmental services. Staff does not foresee any adverse impacts from the proposed use. For staff recommendations, staff recommends approval of the conditional use permit with the following conditions. That roads will be maintained at all times by the property owner to allow access for emergency services. Parking shall be limited to off-street parking only. No tiny homes will be allowed on wheels. And at any time, the city may institute revocation of the conditional use permit for violations of the conditions of approval, expiration, or the reasons specified in section 21.225 of the land development ordinance. The city shall provide notice to the landowner and public in the same manner as was provided for the establishment of the conditional use permit.
All right. Before I take comments from the public, I would like to give my father's house an opportunity to say anything they'd like to say before we take the public comments.
Thank you for hearing us today. I'm Beth Waddle. I'm with My Father's House Community Services. I'm the president and CEO, and I have been with My Father's House since we opened back in 2006. And so for 18 years, we have provided transitional shelter in our building just across and down the way a little bit here. And for 18 years, we have done that primarily with a grant funded through the Department of Housing and Urban Development through HUD. Their continual renewal of our grant and their continuous monitoring, I think, is one of the strongest points that shows about the efficacy of our programs. We have an incredible success rate. Folks leaving our program tend to go to permanent housing at a rate of about 94%, which is really very high for programs like we operate. We serve women and families. Most of our folks that we serve come from right here in Paola, Osawatomie, sometimes surrounding communities. We prioritize families and women from our local area for services because we receive a lot of local support, and we really started My Father's House to serve the folks who are here in this community. So these aren't people that we find in other areas that come here to receive services. These are folks that are living here in our community and somehow become homeless through, sometimes through unfortunate turns of events, sometimes through some choices of their own, really a lot of different situations that we see. But we're very passionate about taking a relational approach to getting to know our people and identifying what caused their homelessness and helping provide them with supportive services to address those issues so that when they leave our program and our shelter there, that they're ready to be successful in our community on their own. And so we have served almost 800 people in the time that we've been open there, which when you think about a community our size and that those are folks coming from our community is really an incredible number. And these are folks whose kids go to school with our kids and who may have been neighbors to us at some point. And so we really are passionate about serving people in our community that need those services. We did have the opportunity to open a separate emergency shelter room back in September that has been utilized, about 75% of the nights. We have, at least one person in there. If we have individuals, we can have multiple, same gender individuals. If we have a family, then they have that room to themselves. And, that has been a nice relief for some of the other organizations that help us do things like, hotel vouchers and things when we have folks who are just, in a temporary rough spot. It gives us a chance to kind of help them formulate a plan for what's next. And so that has been successful in that we have not had an increase of issues there, not had increased police involvement or anything like that there in that time. And so we're kind of excited that that's going so smoothly, and we really want to take services to the next level and continue to expand what we do to be of benefit to our community here. And we really feel like tiny homes is a practical way to do that. There are just some folks that need that extra level of support. And so these aren't just homes, it's a community. It's on our property there, if you're familiar with our property, where the tiny homes will be located is entirely behind our existing building. And it really kind of creates this protected area that we're excited at the possibility of utilizing that to create community among the folks that live in tiny homes. We see it happen in our shelter all the time. When people come in, they get to know other people who live there, and they become supports to each other. So even when people are having hardships of their own, they're really able to participate in community. And I think that really is an important part of people being successful, is having those connections. We have a very relational approach, and we want the tiny homes to be the same thing, that we take a relational approach to working with the folks who live there, and that there's opportunities for relationship and community built in right there where they're living, so that can be that can create success for them individually. And I think that contributes to the success of a project overall. That's just kind of a brief overview of my father's house and what we do. We also have Gabe here who's working with us, who has more details about the project itself. But that's kind of our goal is to make this a continuation of the good work that's already being done in my father's house.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak for or against? If you do, can she make it? Can we pick her up from there?
Takes me a minute to get up here.
When you do, would you state your name and your address, please?
My name is Dorothy Murdoch, and I live at 205 Pinecrest. I am the closest neighbor that they have to. And I moved here 5.5 years ago. And when I moved here, this was the only house that I could find that would accommodate my needs. And I didn't even know what my father's house was. But I just thank the Lord for a place like Father's house that will take people that would be on our streets. If they weren't there, they would be on our streets. And I thank you for that. Thank you that you support them, because I certainly support them. And they have been very good neighbors. The people that live there do not bother me in any way. I am safe there. I feel very safe. I don't sleep very well sometimes at night, and I'll look out the window and there'll go a policeman, and he'll go down and go around and back out, just checking on things. And it's just been a real pleasure to be a neighbor to there. And I really support this. I think this is great. I moved here. I had lived in Overland Park most of my life, but I came here from Lebanon, Missouri, and it's a town that's twice the size of Paola, and it does not have any place for homeless people. And so they are on the streets, and they are in the, in the alleyways and out around. But I just really appreciate this, and I just wanted to say that I feel safe, and I'm not worried about the people. And I think that Beth does a really good job of taking care of things over there and runs a pretty tight ship. So I thank you.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to speak?
Hi, my name is Denise Lester. My address is 4313 East 108th Street, Kansas City, Missouri, 64137. I have not met my father's house yet, but I founded and am the executive director of a ministry called Rended Heart. And we serve women, children, men who have been sexually exploited and trafficked. And I will say that one of the most difficult items to provide resources is housing. Housing is a major first step that we need in order to help an individual out from the situation that they are currently in, the abuse, domestic violence as well, and addictions. Most of our clients are women right now, or teens, and they're female. And we not only provide 30-day homes so that they can come in, get clean, and then we can refer them to long-term programs. So we would refer to like the Father's House if we had an individual who is, wanting to come out in this area. And so our mission is to give them a place to start and then help them find a place to go to for a long-term kind of program where they can get clean for, extended period of time, have that support system around them. And the tiny homes being a next step, we would like to get tiny homes at one point ourselves, why I'm in such support of this. I have some women who are in reintegration, as we call it. So they've gone through their healing process. I've got 3 ladies who've been with me for 2 years, have jobs. We support them. We provide the housing and we provide the, transportation so that they can get their lives back on track. They need to go somewhere from where we are, because right now they're living with roommates. Some of them have children, grown children. They want to get into their own home. But as you know, the housing right now is so expensive. So it's difficult even to get an apartment. So providing a place that is safe for them, that still has a community effect to it, that can still be, there's accountability. That's what I understand from even, I'm sorry, I forgot your name. But their neighbor, right? The accountability is there and the support is there from the community. We need that. We need to be able to help people who can't help themselves. And the only way for them to get out from under is that we as a community come together and assist in whatever parts that we can assist in. And so I just want to put that charge out there that these tiny homes would be such a great asset to just bringing individuals back into the community in a safe and more healthy lifestyle. And that, so that's my pitch for the tiny homes here in Paola. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, Mitch, did we have any? Oh, I'm sorry. If you don't mind. Oh, go ahead.
Gabe Peppercorn, 109 East Ottawa, Paola, Kansas. A little bit humbled to come up here and speak after Beth and the other individuals. However, I just want to give the project some technical credence. We should be inspired to move mountains to do what needs to be done for these people. Fortunately, in this scenario, it really fits the land that we have there. We don't have to move mountains. The building already has storm shelters that are a part of it, so we can build this. It is compliant with the LDO. It's compliant with building ordinances. It's safe from the standpoint of storm shelters, things of that nature. So really just wanted to, there are some times where, someone may come for a CUP and you say, we wish you the best of luck. Great idea. This one really does have a lot of legs. It is viable. They've got a great location, a great, I hate to use the term business model, but it really integrates well into what we've got planned. So yeah, I just wanted to come up and say, as a member of the community, really am honored to be a part of it. And I think it's going to come to fruition in the near future. So we hope for community support and look forward to seeing it come. Thank you.
All righty, thanks, Gabe. Did we have any written comments from the public? Did we receive any written comments?
We didn't receive any written comments. We had one former member of my father's house, show a bunch of support in it. And one other inquiry over the phone, just kind of on what they were gonna be doing. Nothing really.
Okay. Well, with that, I would take a motion to close the public hearing.
I would make a motion to close.
Okay, do I have a second? All right, I've got a motion and a second.
DeGrand.
Aye.
McLean.
Aye.
Calvin.
Aye.
Parks.
Aye.
Mauer. Dees.
All right. All right, gentlemen. Ladies. Anybody have any questions? Comments?
Is the original My Father's House, is it operated or current CP or is 2006?
No, it doesn't.
Now, how much of the $1 million grant will cover the first phase?
So the entire 1 million plus some match that has been committed through local private sources and foundations and some individuals. So that it comes to about 1.5 that will cover the initial infrastructure, getting roads and utilities back there, and the first 14 tiny homes.
Great.
For the LDO, this is all covered under current zoning, everything.
Yes, it's under the, section that was actually voted on at the beginning of last year that was
Right.
kind of created.
Okay.
Any other questions? Anybody want to make a motion?
I will make a motion to recommend approval of the conditional use permit for the tiny homes cluster development at 1004 North Pearl Street, My Father's House.
I'll second.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote.
DeGrand.
Aye.
McLean.
Aye.
Calvin.
Aye.
Parks.
Aye.
Mauer. Dees.
All right, motion passed. Thank you.
This will go to council, next month.
Thank you, everyone, for attending. All right, next item on the agenda is a community and economic development report. Director report.
And actually, I had it all typed up, but we had training today, so we've got a lot left in City Hall, so I'm gonna wing it. We're right around 35 permits as of last week, year to date. Lake Mary has, as far as I know, completed all of their, interior build on the new dorm rooms. Either today or tomorrow, supposed to go for inspection. They're about halfway done with the fire lane. I'm expecting, either later this week or the next week to be completely done, ready for final inspection. The container homes that, you all, did design for, he just got his permit, and is getting started on them. We look forward to see those going up. We have a couple, proposed site plans that are kind of in the, for early stages of design. So those may be coming up in the next couple of months.
Are you still just doing one container home?
Yes, just,
Pine Street?
it's the way it was planned. We kind of feeling everything out with it, and if it gets a lot of steam behind it, it'll keep doing it.
Okay,
You guys have any questions for us?
any questions for them? Well, in that case, I would take a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
And I'll second that motion.
Okay, DeGrand.
Aye.
McLean.
Aye.
Calvin.
Aye.
Parks.
Aye.
Mauer. Dees. Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you all.